To discuss about restrictive lung disease. If you have read about the obstructive lung disease, it's very easy to understand this restrictive. What do you mean by obstructive?
Obstruction.
There is obstruction in the airway. Okay? Like chronic bronchitis, emphysema, all these asthma, these are all obstructive lesions. Restrictive means
Decrease in the expansion.
it is decrease in the expansion of the lungs. Or in other terms, it is the increased compliance. Okay. So these are the objective. So restrictive lung diseases, this also called chronic interstitial lung diseases, they are characterized by bilateral, patchy, and chronic involvement. Bilateral means usually both lungs are involved. Patchy means it is not diffuse. Like for example, bronchopneumonia. The involvement will be in patches.
Yeah.
Whereas in lobar pneumonia, the whole lobe is involved. So here also the involvement is patchy and chronic. Chronic means of long duration of the most peripheral and delicate interstitium of the alveolar wall. See, here we are not discussing about what happening inside the lumen of the air spaces. We are discussing about the interstitium. Okay? Interstitium in the alveolar wall. Okay, what do you mean by interstitium? Interstitium means?
Space between two alveoli.
Yeah, it is the space between two alveoli. And what is the structure? What is the structure? How it is made?
Collagen. Collagen fibers.
Yeah, one is elastic fibers, collagen, whatever it is. And the most important is, in between there is collagen or elastic fibers, everything. On the two ends, on the sides is, on the one side it is the endothelium of blood vessel.
Yeah.
And on the other side is the alveolar epithelium. These three constitutes the interstitium. Alveolar epithelium, elastic tissue or connective tissue or collagen, whatever it is, in between, and on the other side is the endothelium of blood vessels. So these are the three structures which forms the pulmonary interstitium. The hallmark of this disorder is reduced compliance. That is, more pressure is required to expand the lungs because they are stiff. See, all these lesions, they are present, located in the interstitium. If the interstitium becomes tough, then the whole lung becomes tough. So air will enter, there is no problem with the air spaces. But it is very difficult for the lungs to expand. Okay? So which in turn necessitates increased effort of breathing, that is called dyspnea. Okay, one more thing. In the interstitium, what happens? What is the function of this interstitium? It expands, but at the end, what is the function? It is the exchange. Yeah, very good. Gas exchange. The exchange of gases take place at this place. Okay? The air, it enters the alveoli, and at the alveolar level, there will be exchange of gases. So once that, if interstitium is damaged, then there is a problem with this gas exchange. So what happens? There will be ventilation abnormalities of ventilation perfusion ratio, and at the end there will be hypoxia. And radiographically, it shows infiltration of small nodules, irregular lines or rounded shadows. With progression, patient develop respiratory failure in association with pulmonary hypertension and cor pulmonary. What do you mean by pulmonary hypertension? What is pulmonary hypertension? Increase in pressure of pulmonary artery. Okay? Okay, what do you mean by blood pressure? Yes? What you are measuring is, you are measuring which blood pressure? Arterial. That means the blood which is coming out of the aorta, you are measuring that.
Yes.
Then what about the pulmonary pressure? How you will measure pulmonary pressure?
But the pulmonary artery.
Yeah, but how?
Pulmonary arteries.
Okay, this is homework for you. Okay, how you will see this pulmonary pressure? What do you mean by cor pulmonale?
Right side.
Right side of the right heart failure due to pulmonary pathology or pulmonary disease. This is the diagram showing the interstitium. The yellow line is the basement membrane, and here it is. Yes, what happened? Yellow line is the basement membrane. On one side is capillary lumen. On the other side is the epithelium of air spaces. Okay, now come to the diseases. These are all the diseases which comes under category of interstitial lung diseases. That means the interstitium is involved. Fibrosing. Fibrosing means where predominant feature is fibrosis. So all these, the above, they are the diseases which comes under fibrosing diseases. Second is granulomatous. We have already discussed this. Sarcoidosis, hypersensitivity, pneumonia. What happens here? Granuloma formation in the interstitium. Remember this. Because granulomatous diseases, tuberculosis also comes under granulomatous. But we will not put tuberculosis here because tuberculosis will involve the airways also. That's why sarcoidosis, hypersensitivity, pneumonia. Eosinophilic, where there will be eosinophilia and smoking related. Just remember the names. Okay. And the main objectives are the three. One is coal workers, second is silica, third is asbestos. Okay. So pneumoconiosis, it is a non-neoplastic lung reaction to inhalation of mineral dust. Pneumoconiosis results from exposure to coal dust, silica and asbestos. These are the three diseases which comes under, mainly it comes under pneumoconiosis. Coal dust, what do you mean by coal?
Blood material that you use
You sit here, you come here. You only, yeah, yeah, sit here. No, sit, come and sit here. Mubarak, you come there. Okay. Anything? Why you are laughing? Keep. Yeah. Coal dust, silica, and asbestos. These are the three diseases which we are going to discuss. Okay, pneumoconiosis in general, the pathogenesis is the big particles. There is no problem with big particles because they will not go. One more thing, always remember, it is the distal airways which are affected. Okay, if big particles are there, they will get obstructed in the major airways. So they will not enter the small airways. One is this. Second thing is, if small particle, very small particles are there, they will enter the alveoli and they will come out. So no problem with very small. So very big there is no problem, very small there is no problem. The problem comes when the particles is in the size of 1 to 5 micron. These are the most dangerous. They get lost at the bifurcation of the distal airways. Coal dust is relatively inert and large amounts must be deposited in the lungs. Okay, one more thing. Many people, they work in coal factories, mining, coal mines. All will not get this disease. And nowadays it is very rare. Why? Because of the laws from the government, no person can work continuously there. If he works for a few days, then he will go for vacation.
Coal means
Coal.
fahm. When you flame the fire from the black.
Yeah, that black one is coal.
Yeah.
Did you see any time barbecue? What do you use there? That is coal. Okay. So many people, I think you also saw this barbecue. Whenever you go to Matam,
Yeah.
definitely you will have this. But even the Matam people will not get this disease because it takes a lot of time. Yeah, lot of time is required for the disease to develop. Okay, and because of these government laws, the people they work for some few days. After that, they should get vacation. It is from the law from the government. Those who are working in the mines or these industries. Okay.
Okay, doctor. So
Yes.
no problem with the greater size.
Very size there is no problem. Very small there is no problem. If the size is between 1 to 5 micron, then that gets lodged in the bifurcation of small airways. Silica, asbestos and beryllium are more reactive than coal dust. Okay, most inhaled dust is entrapped in the mucus and rapidly removed from the lung. One more thing, the mechanism which the lung have is the ciliary mechanism and the mucus. These particles they get lodged in the mucus and because of the ciliary action they will be removed. Okay, so all this is the helpful mechanism which the body has. Okay, if this mechanism there is some problem in this mechanism or because of long exposure, at the end, if a particle is there, what will happen? That particle is treated as a foreign body.
Yeah.
Once it is a foreign body, what will happen? The macrophage, it will engulf those. So at the end, what happens? It is the alveolar macrophages, which is the key cellular element in the initiation and perpetuation of lung injury and fibrosis. Reactive particles trigger the macrophage to initiate fibroblast proliferation. Okay, you know what happens in chronic inflammation? There will be inflammatory mediators,
Yeah.
and now we are not discussing any mediators, but what happens at the end? There will be tissue destruction and healing by
Fibrosis.
These two mechanisms you should know. For all these diseases, at the end the basic mechanism is there. But how this mechanism is occurring, you should remember for each disease. Okay, one more thing, tobacco smoking worsens the effect of all these inhaled mineral dust. Now starts with coal workers pneumoconiosis. There are three things which you will see in the lungs of coal workers pneumoconiosis. First is asymptomatic. That means coal enters the lung. The pigment accumulates without any cellular reaction. This is the beginning of the disease. The lot of coal is inhaled by a person, but nothing will happen. Okay? It starts with it. That is asymptomatic anthracosis. Anthracosis stands for coal workers disease. Okay, inhalation of coal. Second is simple coal workers pneumoconiosis. That is accumulation of macrophages along with little or no pulmonary function. See, in chronic inflammation, first what will happen? There is just accumulation of foreign body. First foreign body will enter. Second is it is engulfed by macrophages. Third is what happens? The function of macrophage starts.
Yeah.
It will engulf, it will try to digest or phagocytose. After that there will be deposition of collagen tissue. So third is the complicated coal workers pneumoconiosis where there is fibrosis, progressive massive fibrosis. And here once there is fibrosis of the interstitium, then starts what happens? The pulmonary function, it starts decreasing because the exchange of gases will not take place, it is decreased. So these are the three categories of coal workers pneumoconiosis. First is asymptomatic, second is simple coal workers pneumoconiosis, third is complicated coal workers pneumoconiosis. Okay, in morphology, because asymptomatic you will not see anything other than just, even if you see under the microscope only small coal particles will see, nothing you will see. But whereas in simple coal workers and complicated, what you will see? You will see coal macules and coal nodules. What do you mean by macules?
Flat.
Flat. Yeah. Any flat lesion, it is macule. Nodule,
Around
yeah,
it.
it is raised. So, for macule to form, just dust-laden macrophages are there. If they infiltrate that area, then that becomes vacuole. For nodule to form, this area, this lesion should also have what it should have. It should have connective tissue. Once it have connective tissue, then only a nodule can be formed. So there will be cone macules and cone nodules. Usually upper lobes and upper zones of lower lobes are involved. So what is this? One more thing, in Kohlwerker's pneumoconiosis, the upper lobes or upper zone of lower lobe is involved. Yes?
The three categories are progressive from one another.
It is in progression. First it will be asymptomatic, second simple, third is complicated.
Victor, again your point, upper lobe.
Upper lobe
You
is
said-
involved.
Yeah.
In Kohlwerker's, commonly upper lobe is involved.
Okay.
Second is complicated, occurs on background of simple. I told you it is a progressive disease. So it occurs on background of simple Kohlwerker pneumoconiosis. See how it forms is, in simple Kohlwerker's pneumoconiosis, small nodules will be there. Once they all nodules join, that is called coalescence. If they all nodules they join, after increasing in size, it becomes a complicated Kohlwerker's pneumoconiosis. So it is characterized by multiple intensely blackened scars larger than 2 centimeters. Is it clear? Simple and complicated. This is a photograph of complicated. You can see this black one is the coal pigment, okay, and the pink one is the collagen. And what are these? All these are alveoli. Whenever any white structure comes in lung, that is alveoli or any air space. So you can see the air spaces are all normal. This distinguishes restrictive from obstructive COPD. Okay, in COPD you will see changes inside this.
Yeah.
Whereas in restrictive you will see changes outside these air spaces. So outside these air spaces you are seeing black pigment and
Collagen.
all this is collagen. Large amount of black pigment with fibrosis. This is the fibrosis. Whenever this comes, the problem is the exchange of gases. That's why the patient, though he will be breathing, he is breathing, but because there is no gas exchange, there will be always hypoxia. So this is a photograph of progressive massive fibrosis or complicated Kohlwerker's pneumoconiosis. Okay, is it clear? Kohlwerker's, only few things you have to remember. It is the 1 to 2 micron particles which are most dangerous. Second thing is these particles are engulfed by macrophages. In the pathogenesis there are 3 things. First is asymptomatic, second is simple, third is complicated. Asymptomatic, there is nothing other than coal dust. Simple Kohlwerker's pneumoconiosis, you will see coal macules and nodules. And in complicated, all these nodules join to form very big. Yeah. Now comes silicosis. Silicosis is currently the most prevalent chronic occupational disease. What do you mean by sand blasting? This one. Sand blasting and hard rock mining. You know these glasses, how they are prepared? Yeah, very good. At least you know this. So this is all comes under sandblasting. The glasses preparation, they prepare these glasses from the sand.
Yeah.
So people who work in these industries, they will get silicosis. Okay? Or the people who are dealing with rocks, breaking of the rocks and making rocks into shape, all these people, they are more prone for silicosis. Since this industry is very much fast growing, that's why silicosis is a very common occupational lung disease. Okay, in pathogenesis, silica occurs in both crystalline and amorphous. What do you mean by crystalline? Crystalline means crystal. What is crystal? You know sugar? Sugar. That is crystal. And if you see the powder, what is powder? The females which apply on the face, that is the powder. Okay, that is amorphous.
Yeah.
See the difference between crystalline and amorphous. Okay, so silica occurs in both crystalline and amorphous form. Out of these two, crystalline is more dangerous than amorphous. Crystalline forms are more toxic and fibrogenic. After inhalation, the particles interact with epithelial cells and macrophages. Okay, again the same story you have to write here. The particles here are engulfed by macrophages. Macrophages will start this reaction of chronic inflammation. They will release the mediators. That mediators will destroy the tissue as well as
Healing.
what? As well as healing by fibrosis. Okay. Grossly silicotic nodules are characterized by tiny, palpable, discrete, pale to black nodules in upper zone. This also affects the upper zone. So coal and silica, upper zones are affected. Okay, silicotic nodules demonstrate concentrically arranged hyalinized collagen fibers surrounding an amorphous center. The word appearance of collagen fibers is distinct. What will happen here is, I told you, crystalline form. The crystals of silica, once they enter inside the lung, they are engulfed by the macrophages, and the reaction, the deposition of the collagen or fibrous tissue will be like onion peel, you know. Concentrically they are deposited. Okay. So, but if they are once they are deposited concentrically, if you see under the microscope, whenever crystals are there, you have to check under the polarized microscopy. That means these are the microscopes which will show you these crystals. Okay. Okay, intervening lung parenchyma, they are compressed or dilated. What happened? There is problem of AC
Yeah.
every. Even in our office also AC is not working.
Don't you have a remote control in your office? Maybe you can use it for this.
What do you mean by honeycomb? Honeycomb lung.
Yeah.
What is honeycomb? The house
This is the house of the bee.
The house of honeybees.
Yeah.
Okay. So once the honey is removed, what you will see? Just a comb.
Yeah.
The remaining part is called honeycomb. Okay.
Yeah.
So because of this reaction of fibrosis, the fibrous tissue, it will compress the surrounding lung. So the whole lung becomes like a honeycomb. So honeycomb appearance comes. And one more thing, once there is fibrosis and necrosis, what will happen? There will be deposition of calcium. Wherever there is necrosis, there will be deposition of calcium. What do you mean?
Calcification.
Which type of calcification? It is dystrophic. In dead and degenerated tissue, if there is calcification, it is called dystrophic calcification. So once there is fibrosis, concentric fibrosis, the calcification also will be concentric. Okay? So in the X-ray, you will see this calcification as an eggshell. You know eggshell?
Yes.
It looks like eggshell. So eggshell calcification, it is a feature of silicosis. Eggshell, you know? What is egg?
بيضة.
You know egg? And shell means?
That covering the egg.
Yeah, the covering of silicosis.